And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for being here. This is the only Dallas Cowboys draft show y'all gonna get tonight. only Cowboys draft show y'all gonna get tonight. It's the doing all right. Snowed in a little bit, but it's all Brian ain't snowed in nowhere. Brian been driving all over the place. My ass ain't leaving the house. It's cold outside. But we did take this opportunity to get in on our homework assignment. I told y'all to write down the prospects. It will be on a little pop quiz for y'all today. We're going to talk about 5 prospects. We know I'm going to do 4, but we're going to talk about 5 today. Brian, do you have a particular direction that you want to go in with these 5?
No, man. Do them in the order. Okay. Since you asked me,
sure.
Do them in the order that you feel like the Cowboys would look at this. Now, again, I'm taking this from I know our draft show is about all players. Our show might be a little bit more about the Cowboys, but do it from the order of how the Cowboys should look at these guys.
Should look at these guys. Okay, so
should look at these guys. Should look at these.
So
guys.
most likely a Cowboy. Most likely a Cowboy to least likely a Cowboy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm putting this character way at the bottom of the list because he's least likely a guy, Brian. We're looking for this position every single year, so I'm going to put him right there. Oh, Brian, this is a fun exercise. You on you on to something, sir? I'm gonna put him right there because you can never have too many of them. I'm gonna put this one right there, and let's start right here, Brian Bruss.
Okay.
I think free safety is a real conversation for the Cowboys, Brian.
Sure.
I think and there's the meme going around the internet. Hey, the Cowboys can use everybody. I feel you. I feel you. But Malik Hooker's had his challenges in general. On top of the fact that he is getting a little bit older or whatever, and Brian, I think good free safety is rare. Like a really good rangy free safety is rare. You don't really find a whole bunch of these guys, and I think when you find them, you hold on to them. So when we watch Kelvin Winston from Penn State, he's a free safety. Okay, so we're watching a couple safeties tonight, but he's a free safety, Brian. Just watching the player, I got a chance to watch him play West Virginia in 2024, and then I went backwards and I watched him versus Michigan.
You have to, you have to because of he had a knee injury against Bowling Green the next week.
Yep.
So the West Virginia game is his only game, but you have to go back in 2023 to grab the rest of his work.
Yep, and Washington versus Michigan and some other team. And Brian, one thing that I really respect out of these frees, right? Because frees and strongs are different. But when these frees are willing, not just willing, right? But they're actively coming up and tackling. I think that's very important. Because you don't want to just have your 11th guy to be the liability. You know what I mean? You don't want him to be the guy that's making business decisions or tripping over his feet and trying not to tackle people. He gets active in the run game. And when you see him in some of these games, looking at the game logs, he'll rack up 10 tackles, 11, 12 tackles. And that's just not from him being in coverage. That's from him coming up and thumping people, or you'll see some of these routes crossing the middle of the field. He's stepping up to actively get involved in that. Also, if you look at the game log, Brian Bros, you don't see a whole bunch of pass deflections. You don't see a whole bunch of picks. I just simply think that they're trying to avoid them. Backpedals really well, gains depth really well. He gets to his landmarks quickly. So, when we're watching free safeties, you always tell the old story about Ed Reed. This is where he's at, but he's off the film.
Yeah.
You don't really get an opportunity to see that whole bunch with these frees. I didn't see that with Winston, but I do have a general idea that he can be a rangy guy. I just didn't get a chance to see him be that. Like I said, quick feet, turns his hips really well, and I think he can identify really well, Brian. But I was most impressed with his ability to come up and tackle. And of course, the combine is coming up, and what the combine does for these DBs, I think is most important for them, is these coaches are going to put these dudes in these situations where they got to turn their hips, they got to turn, they got to run, they got to turn and run. And when we see those guys do that, you really get a feel for the athlete that they are. And I think Kelvin Winston will be just fine in those drills, Brian. I got him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I tell you what, I do. I like what you've. I think you did a really nice job on the player and presenting him in the way he is. And I think he is, the way you look at him build. He's 6'2", he's 205. I think he's when you talk about rangy, you could talk about rangy as far as your ability to cover ground and things like that. I think when I say rangy here, his ability rangy is how he's physically built.
Yeah.
I think you could play this kid at single high. I think you could play him in the box. I really like this kid though as a true free safety on the back. And I've been very, very, very critical of Hooker. I just feel like that they need to upgrade there. And, they signed into an extension, with the money and stuff like that. And at times he's played well. But I just feel like that though, if you go out and get a kid like KJ Winston, from Penn State, he is going to do more for you when it comes to the coverage aspect, but he is a physical wrap up tackler. The metrics will tell you this kid only misses like 2% of his tackles. Like he is second in the whole entire country when it comes to missed tackles. I mean, he is unbelievable when it comes to wrapping up guys. But there is the movement skill, there is the fluidity. He sees the football. You talked about that. I think he's got that football intelligence. I think this is a real plus. The length, the recovery speed. He could cover some ground when he's on the move. I thought he did a really nice job of tracking the ball when he got the opportunity and getting in on it. But he plays sideline to sideline. You do not see him just kind of run up to the pile, run up to the pile, run up to the pile. He's usually in the pile. So that's what I really, really appreciate about him. How he plays in the alleys, really on both sides. He plays from depth. And I think that he could be really, really hard if you put him in matchup against tight ends due to his length and then the way he's able to run. So I can see a guy that can flip those hips. You'll talk about that at the combine. They'll do that old Al Davis drill from the Raiders where they'll pedal him and then they'll open and they'll open and they'll open and they'll open and then they turn and run. That is a very revealing drill to a defensive back and how well they can flip their hips. As you mentioned, he did hurt his knee in practice in week 2. He tried to play against Bowling Green in week 2, and it just didn't work out that well. So if the knee checks out, I like the ability. I like the toughness. I like him as a true free safety. And I think this kid could be a difference maker just because how physical he is and what he is willing to do to go make tackles. So I personally have him in the second round on my board. And I think maybe I pumped some air into him because I'm just so desperate for a true free safety. And this kid kind of fits the bill. He's probably more what you're looking at. Maybe he's going to be in that, that third round range. But I'm thinking, man, if I just wanted to make sure that he was in the mix when you and I are working on the draft and all of a sudden we get to the, that 44th pick and I want to be able to throw his name in there with some of these others. Sure. Others will probably have more status, maybe in the stack a little higher, but I didn't want this kid to be forgotten. And that's why I put him where I put him.
Well, let's just play a good old game, Brian, since you want to, since you want to bring that up. So with just perfect timing, let's just do this quickly here. Let's see, Winston or Ravel, the corner from ECU.
I have Ravel in the first round, so I would take Ravel.
Okay.
Yeah. Both players with knee injuries though, too.
Sure.
I mean, that's
Winston, the safety in the second round. Or how about Tyler Booker, the guard? Which one of those guys would you take?
I knew you were going to go there. If, of course, this is a moot point, in fact that they take Banks, the Texas tackle, with the intent of moving him at guard if they take him at 12.
Correct.
If you gave me the choice, which you have, I would take Booker over Winston.
One more, Brian. What about Winston over Hampton, the runner from North Carolina?
Does that mean that? Okay, so that means we didn't have a shot at Genty.
In the first round, you drafted McMillan in the first round.
Okay.
In the second round, you have an option of a running back or a free safety. Do you take Hampton or do you take Winston?
I think I'm going to take Winston in this particular case. Is what I'm going to do.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I like it because I've got Genty, Johnson from Iowa, then Hampton from North Carolina. Now, Johnson from Iowa, Hampton from North Carolina, both in the second round is what I have.
Sure.
So I like Winston that much. Where, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do you think Green, the edge from Marshall, is going to go in the first round?
I think he's a first round guy, Brian. I think he's going to go in the late teens.
So he's
or 20s.
not in the mix. Yeah, he's not in the mix. Then how about Winston or Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan?
I'm taking Kenny Grant, but I also think that he's a first round guy. He's a second round grade, but he'll go in the first round. How about this, Brian? How about Harmon? How about Harmon from Oregon?
Okay, I think I would take, because I have Grant, Michigan, Williams, Tyleek Williams from Ohio State, and then Harmon as those guys, and then Walker's there.
Right.
So those are my 4 second round guys. I think that I would take Grant and Williams over Winston. I don't think I would take Harmon over Winston, if that makes sense.
That's interesting. And Harmon is
how about this?
Sure.
What would you do with Winston? What about our difficult names to pronounce, our Ole Miss?
I'm taking all the pass rushes over Winston. See, that's where it's tough. See, Brian, I love what you're saying.
You have Kennard?
I might take Winston there.
South Carolina?
Yeah, I am. See, Brian, this is where it's tough, right? Free safety makes it tough. The actual position free safety makes this tough, right? I think he's a very talented player. But if you can give me Donovan, Boston College, Kennard, South Carolina, Princely, and them, I think I would take all of them over Winston.
Those are all the twitchy edges you're talking about, right?
Yes.
All the twitchy edges. So
I'm taking all of them.
No matter what, you're going twitchy edge over safety.
I tell you what, Brian, I'm also going Winston over Williams from Georgia, the edge from Georgia, and the edge from Texas. All the Texas A&M kids, I'm taking Winston over them.
Yeah. The thing about it is, people are saying, well, damn, Voch, Brian, what the hell? You're spending a second round grade on a free safety.
He's a good player.
This kid's special. Kid's special, man. When you talk about a guy that can cover and also tackle, how much is better? We're going to watch a playoff game this weekend. We're going to watch on Saturday afternoon. We're going to watch the Houston Texans play in a game. We're going to watch them. One of the worst tackling defenses in the league.
Yep.
They're about to, KJ Dobbins about to, and he's done nothing but break tackles these last few weeks.
Yeah.
And Houston gives up. Get this. This is metrics for you. On missed tackles, for every missed tackle that Houston has, it's a 6-yard gain. 6 yards extra added on to the run.
Jeez.
Or to the think about that.
It's hitting yards for your ass, man. Yeah.
Damn right it is. 6 yards every time you miss a tackle of extra yards. Let me tell you, I got a dude back there that's physical, that can cover and can tackle.
I like what you're saying.
Sign me up. But twitchy edges. Yeah. Twitchy edges or good tackle and safety. I'll tell you what, man, that's a tough one for me. I think there's only so many of those twitchy edges I would take over a badass safety that can tackle.
I tell you what, after further litigation, I'm gonna move Winston to the second, because I tell you what, Brian, I'm taking him over Scourton and Williams. Maybe I'm just taking these dudes off my board because I don't trust them, Brian. Scourton and Williams. I'll take them at some point.
They'll go. No, they're gonna go.
Somebody will take them.
And what's gonna happen is someone's gonna figure out how to play them. But I don't have a really comfortable feeling with these guys. I'm not comfortable. There's some guys you watch play, like when you're watching some of these cats play. Yeah, you're comfortable. Like, I can watch Green play. I can watch Pierce play. I could watch these guys play. And all of a sudden, then I'm like, Booker from Alabama. I could watch them play. I could watch Ohio State receiver. I could watch them, and I'm comfortable with that.
Sure.
I am not comfortable with these A&M kids. I'm really not.
Nick Scorden is like Cleveland Farrell to me. You remember Cleveland Farrell coming out of Clemson?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And he went fourth overall for some odd crazy reason.
And he played last week against he was on the Commanders.
I didn't know he was in the league still, bro. I didn't know he was
Commanders.
Anyway, I like Kevin Winston Jr. a bunch, bro. KJ Winston, I like him a bunch. In order of Cowboy interest.
Wow, this is surprising. You took free safety first.
I think that's the biggest emergency, Brian.
I like what you're doing though.
I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on it, but in my personal opinion, I think free safety, especially with the players that's on the list. And Brian, the more I explain the players, the more you understand why I'm going here. Anyway, my number 2, the guard Tate Ratledge from Georgia.
Okay, all right, I'm interested here.
Brian, I'm tired of these 300-pound guards, man. I'm tired of these light ass, good moving outside zone running ass guards, Brian. I want some people that's gonna move bodies, Brian. Tate Ratledge. Bro, let me tell you something. So this is the film I watched on Tate Ratledge, right? I downloaded the film and I was like, damn, boy, we got Ratledge versus Walter Nolan, the Ole Miss kids. I got Ratledge versus Walker, Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
I say, damn, I gotta go back in time to watch some old Ratledge. just like he missed about 5 games or something. I went back in time to watch him versus Alabama or something. He was beating it. Brian, I like my guards. I'm gonna say this loudly on Doing All Right and on .com. Let's go back to guards that move people, Brian. I think
you're right.
3 techs keep getting smaller. 1 techs keep getting smaller. Linebackers are 220 pounds now, Brian. I'll
tell you what, though, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that 1 technique room's about to change. This might be the best group of 1 techniques you and I have scouted in a long time.
It's some good moving 320-pound characters in here. But
There's
Brian,
no question about that. Yeah.
Tate Ratledge moves people. He digs them out of gaps. He's a great combo buddy. Some of my favorite blocks of his are head up base blocks. I love his down blocks. They are devastating, Brian Brothers. I really like a guard that can win one-on-one blocks. You know what I'm saying? Just, hey, don't even help me. But then if you can then help him, I think where he's gonna get into trouble is a little balance.
Ooh.
And him trying to whoop people so bad that he ends up falling forward on them.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll get into these wrestling matches and his feet will stop. I remember one play in particular versus Florida. I watched Ole Miss. I watched a lot of film. Versus Ole Miss, Ivy got him real good because he was trying to kill him and his feet stopped moving. And he leaned over a little bit and them hands got like that and Ivy got around him and got the sack. I say, okay, cool. Tate Ratledge. But Brian, what the hell are coaches for? What's the point of having Duke Manyweather across the street if we can't teach Tate Ratledge how to keep that chest up and that back, you know what I'm saying, and them elbows tight, Brian, bro. You done board drills, Brian, bro.
Oh yeah, I was terrible at them board drills, man. That sweat was pouring down in my face. I wasn't very good at them board, but it puts you in an uncomfortable blocking position, but you have to do that. I think the thing that I would notice, and I give you credit for this real quick. I'll let you finish up your player. I think he gets a little straight-legged at times.
They all stand up. I think this is just something
he
new.
Gets like when you're talking about leaning, those legs get straight.
But Brian, he keep pushing them though. He keep pushing them.
Oh, I know.
He keep pushing. He gets straight-legged, bro. And honestly, I didn't say it. I actually said this in my Patreon we were watching. I'm like, man, why are all these trench dudes standing up? It's like they all agreed that if no low man wins, we just all gonna block and beat each other standing up. I don't know, but I think Tate Ratledge, his biggest problem is getting too far over his skis, leaning and falling and like losing balance. But when he's not doing that, he's pushing people out the club, Brian, bro. He's a very strong player, lower body strength strong. I got Tate Ratledge. I'm just looking at my board. I can put my hands on here. I got Tate Ratledge in the 3rd round. I got him behind. Ooh. I got him behind Booker and Millam, but I got him over Zabel. and Jonah from Zona's in the 4th round. So don't even talk about him.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got Banks number 1 in my first round. Booker and Mbao, I got them in the 2nd.
Well, Banks and Mbao are tackles, Brian. But go ahead, please.
I mean, I'm just telling you, man. I think they're going to have to play guard. I think they're both going to have to play guard. I really do. But that's just me. I do have Ratledge in the 3rd, but I have Jonah from Arizona behind him, and then Zabel behind that. So
okay, cool.
Those are my. But if my projections would be Banks as a guard and Mbao as a guard as well. So, but I you got him in the 3rd round, and that makes me feel good too. I'll say this though. He plays in a scheme where it's that inside zone and that gap concept stuff, where he has to, and you're right. He could push. There's some thickness to this guy. 6'6", 320. The arm length, the play strength. He wins as a run blocker with his play strength and leg drive.
Yep.
Man, he can work inside that frame of his target. He gets him on the angles, combo blocks. I mean, he can strain there to get vertically. I really like him. He's successful on those seal blocks. Yep. He can be a little over aggressive. You mentioned that, and he drops down, and that kind of loses a little bit of his leverage. But man, as a pass protector, I mean, he's got an anchor. He's got a punch. He could shock a defender. I mean, I saw a couple times where his hands were missing, and then he goes into recovery mode. But he could manage that. I think that the football IQ is good. I saw him picking up some stunts and stuff. I was watching the SEC championship game against Texas, and then the Notre Dame game is what I got. And so I was watching those games, just trying to get a little bit. Like you mentioned that he missed some time with an ankle deal. They do that. They get that procedure, the special procedure that they do on the ankles.
Tightrope.
And tightrope. Yeah. Cause they did it with the kid who's the tight end from the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Remember he missed some time with the tightrope injury and stuff as well, or they put him back together that way. But man, this guy's like, he plays through the whistle. I think the pad level comes up a little bit. That'll hurt his leverage. And I said about his legs getting a little straight, and that's when he kind of struggles a little bit with some of his movement. But blue collar, don't need to ask them much away of pulling or playing in space. I think he's kind of a get his guy, maul his guy. And I think he could need a little bit more work in that area, but he'll play better. I think he will. Nothing flashy about technique or game, but just a very, very steady player. I agree with you. I have him in the 3rd round.
Do you think the league likes these guys, Brian? Because it's been
not.
It's been many years where I go, damn, look at this physically strong guard, and that dude look like don't even get drafted. All right, Brian, why do you think the league draft these guys a little less than we do?
I tell you what's going to happen though. That's changing because people are starting to run the ball, and you mentioned it. 1 techniques, 3 techniques, lighter boxes, people playing to stop the pass, worrying about the edges and all that. We're starting now to see teams physically be able to take guys. And if you're going to, my 320-pound guy dealing with your 280-pound guy all day is going to be a problem for your 280-pound guy.
Brian, do me a favor. Go to your notes from last year or maybe year before, I believe, and find your report on Antonio Mafi, UCLA. Remember him?
Oh, I do remember him. Was that 2 years ago?
It was probably 2 years ago. Antonio Mafi. He was blocking for Charbonnet and them.
Might be. Let's see if I did him.
Let's see if you could find Mafi. Not Antonio, but it's Antonio Mafi.
Yeah, let me read for you.
Please.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. 6'3", 329, UCLA number 56. Powerful man, square built, physical at the point of attack. Does a good job of getting movement off the line with his power. Movement skills are impressive for a man his size. Is asked to play in space quite a bit. Has some really impressive blocks downfield. Is a mauler when he gets his hands on his man. Does a really good job of sustaining and keeping contact with the defender. Doesn't appear to be a long-armed guy. Tends to get really close to the defender and keep his body on him. The balance, the body control is not on the ground at all. Good base as a pass protector. gets away from the line with no limitations, can hold his man in place until the ball is gone, no quit in his game. Does a great job of finishing blocks. Kind of sounds like our dude, maybe just a little bit better athlete, huh?
Brian, I was such a fan of Mafi, but he didn't get drafted very high at all. And I'm like, man, I'm like, what's going on with my physical guards that aren't getting drafted high, Brian?
That's a really good question. That's a big guy at 6'3", 329.
And then it makes me wonder, Brian, is Tyler?
He read a lot better. He read a lot better than
our guy, than Rattles.
A lot better than I. Yeah, exactly. He read a lot better than where, where he was taken. Let's see. That was 2 drafts ago. Let me see. Yeah. Go ahead and kind of visit a little bit here. Let's see if I can find my stack and where I had him.
Yeah, go ahead. I had him. I probably had him like a late day 2 type of guy, like a third round dude. That's typically where I put guys like this, Brian. But I was just saying, man, I wonder if guards like that fall in general, because Wyatt Millum is another kind of guard like that. But he's not the athlete that Mafi was neither. And it just kind of makes me wonder, well, is Tyler Booker gonna fall? So if we just make this Cowboy-esque, can you wait to the back of the third to find you a guard or something like that? Like if you don't get a Kelvin Banks early, can you wait later to the third round, because the league maybe just doesn't value guards in that way? Like maybe you have to be some type of Tyler Smith super athlete to be a guard that gets drafted high or gets drafted in the first round or something like that. But just the kind of dude that we're talking about, Brian, the league don't like those guys.
No, the league does not. The league does not like these type of guys. And I'm trying to find, but he read a lot better. I think he read better than what the Georgia,
because of the movement skills. Yeah.
The movement stuff. Yeah. I think I need to kind of find where I had him. I'm going through my stack right now, in where he was. Okay. Mafi. He went to New England.
Yep.
With the 5th round at 144.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is I had him.
If we can get Ratledge in the 5th, I'm going to jail, Brian. You hear me?
Yeah, I had him at 129 on my board.
Okay.
And I had him at 129. And let's see what, like I say, there's I think Dane had him at 138. Yeah. So, yeah, he was a guy that let's get down to 128. Let me do this real quick. Okay, I think I got it different. Let me see if I. Sure. Okay, I had him at 133, not 129. I had 133. Dane had him at 2 out of his. I think this is his top. Did he do at the time? He had him ranked as his 242nd player. Is what he had. So he had him later. And then Daniel Jeremiah didn't draft him at all.
Chill.
Didn't have him drafted at all. Man. Yeah, he did not grade him as one of his guys. So yeah, I had him at 133 on my stack. Out of the 215, he was 133. But he went, like I say, went to the 5th round, pick 144 to the New England Patriots is where he went.
I think it's something to keep an eye on, and just having a conversation about some of these guards, Brian. But we'll cross that bridge whenever we get there. Next up on my Cowboy list, man, Brian, before you get a chance to see this Fannin kid, man, what name, Harold? Is I didn't know that they still made Harolds. People that was born in the 2000s. I didn't know they were still naming them Harold unless he named after somebody. But Harold Fannin, boy, the big athletic tight end from Bowling Green. And I was like, man.
Some action. Got some action there.
And that's exactly what I was okay, he going to beat the hell out of these MAC teams. So I say, cool, let me watch this.
Action, yeah.
I say, cool, let me watch this Penn State film.
He played A&M in Penn State.
I said, let me watch this Penn State film. And the first play from scrimmage, he's finding a hole in the damn zone and catching the ball between 3 damn people. I say, bet. Brian, he's a natural receiver tight end, Brian, and at some point you're gonna have to ask yourself, how much do you value blocking when you have a receiver that can get you big plays and thousands of yards and things like that, Brian? But I think he's a pretty good yak guy, pretty good athlete, pretty good frame. I think he's kind of tough to tackle. I think he's a very willing blocker, though. His I don't think he's a bad blocker. I just think his blocking technique isn't great.
He's not traditional. He's not a traditional inline blocker.
He's not a traditional inline blocker, but he does show a little scrap. He has a little fight there.
No, there's
and right. I wouldn't call him an outstanding route runner, but I think his feel for routes is like really, really good. Like he can feel your leverage on him. Right, I think he's fantastic in man, Brian. Because even if you're like man to man on him, even if you're right on his hip, he'll just catch the ball away from his body and just separate from you. Please,
how many catches did you see where he was running up the seam?
I feel like the very first play versus Penn State was from there. It was seam and crosses.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Seams crossing out.
Yeah, I mean, like this guy.
Please,
I think this guy has some bad ball receiver to his game. I think if it's a bad ball, he's going to catch it. You know, I mean, the range, the catch radius. You know, his quarterback was trying. His quarterback was trying to miss him, but he wouldn't let it happen. I mean, the play strength, the agility in space, he bounces off tacklers.
Sure.
You know, I mean, Texas A&M really didn't have an answer for this kid. You know, the stems, the body control. I think, when you start talking about the different layers in the passing game where he could be effective, he's got them all. Like, underneath, intermediate, down the field. He's going to make some plays. I think, you're absolutely right. This is a very highly functioning pass catching tight end, and he can line up in a lot of different spots and he can generate some matchups. And I believe they have him at the Senior Bowl, and he's going to turn heads down there. That big son of a gun is going to go running down the field in one-on-one, and they're going to have trouble covering him. And I guarantee you, we're going to be, Daniel Jeremiah and all those guys are going to be like, we're watching the broadcast, and they're like, oh man, look at this Fanning kid. Well, the numbers, man, this kid is legit. He is a legit player. You can throw on, played to the MAC at Bowling Green. They started off slowly and then they started winning games, and he was a big part of that.
Sure.
But you could watch him play Penn State and Texas A&M and kind of go, oh wow, this guy was, what? Okay. He's got a chance here. So
I think he's going to dominate the Senior Bowl, Brian Bros. He's going to dominate the one-on-ones, man.
There's no question. There's no question about this. I put him in the second round. Now, where you have to figure out is, okay, Warren, I love Mason Taylor from LSU. I think Mason Taylor is going to be a star in this league. And I'm not just saying that because of my love for LSU. I'm just saying Mason Taylor, he is as clutch a player as I've ever seen. You look at games where he's played the big wins. Go back and you want to watch Jaden Daniels, and you go this Garrett Nussmeier. You watch these guys, and when they needed a play, sure, LSU's got receivers, but Mason Taylor was one. So I got to kind of figure out Warren, Taylor, Loveland at Michigan, Fannin, those guys. I mean,
here's how I got it. I got Fannin as my tight end 1 in the second round.
Yeah, there you go.
I got Tyler Warren right behind him in the second round. I got Mason Taylor as my tight end 3 in the third round.
Right.
And I got Colson Loveland behind him.
Loveland, yeah. I could see that. I
see these mock drafts that got Loveland in the first round. I don't know what y'all
Loveland, doing. Yeah. I mean, I think all those guys are going to fall. Okay, if you got 15 first-round grades, these cats are all going to fall in the 20s for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to be in that 26, 28, 30, that kind of thing. I mean, that when you start to put the players all together. But I could say, if folks haven't had a chance to see Warren could put on a show for Penn State.
Sure.
Warren could put on a show. Fanning could put on a real show.
Sure can.
And you can watch him against Warren's team, Penn State. You can watch him. But if you haven't had the chance, folks, to study in Mason Taylor at LSU, please do. He should be in the conversation with these other tight ends we're talking about.
Honestly, Brian, I don't want to overrate tight end blocking no more. Like if you want to if you want to block and tight end, go get one of the undrafted kids and and run
And
12
Dallas spent
personnel out there.
$250,000 on a kid.
Yeah.
What got spanned for? They looked at Michigan. They go, yeah, let's go get a Michigan. Let's go. I mean, they went to Minnesota. Not Michigan. They went to Minnesota and said, okay, we won't spend a damn dime on pro free agency, but my gosh, we'll pay a tight end $250,000 guaranteed. Come play.
Let him block. You know? Give me a mismatch, Brian Bruss. This Fanning kid, I think he gonna be special in the league, man.
Do you think there's any chance that they would draft this kid?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't either.
Nope. I think the Cowboys love to get tight ends in day 3 in the undrafted guys.
Fourth round.
I think they
if you
love
had a fourth round pick. If you had a fourth round pick,
that'd be a great place to get a tight. Now I don't know why they decided to spend that second round pick on Luke, but besides that, the Cowboys tend to find these undrafted tight ends and they end up working. But I will take Brian, Harold Fanning, the tight end from Bowling Green, or Kevin Winston, the safety from Penn State.
Winston.
I'm taking Fanning and I'm scoring some points.
Winston. I'm doing? I'm taking Winston. I'm going to cover Fanning with Winston is what I'm going to do.
Winston gonna tackle him when it's Winston gonna tackle him 20 yards down the field.
And he's gonna tackle him when it's 20 yards down the field. He's gonna tackle him.
Man, Brian, we got 2 more players, man. I just feel like, since we didn't get the Cowboys draft show tonight, we just gonna go a little longer, man. We had 36.
What's the score of the Penn State game? Is it halftime yet?
It's I just looked up at it, but I was focused on the conversation. I'll let you know as soon as it pop back up.
Okay.
Our player number.
I can look at my phone real quick, but go ahead.
Our player number 4, Brian. We got 2 more.
Okay.
In order in which I think the Cowboys will be looking into him. The strong safety, Xavier Watt.
Okay.
Brian, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown on this, guys? You mentioned him yesterday. Let me say this, Brian. Yesterday you was like, man, he's a right place at the right time kind of guy. You said something along those lines. Man, Brian, I just want to just make a small counterpoint. Not even a counterpoint, right? Because that'll imply that luck is involved somehow.
Yeah.
I think this dude just feels. He teleports. I don't think he's a tremendous man-to-man guy.
Nope.
But when he's floating around in that zone, Brian, Robert, hook and curl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes deep from free. Brian, he finds a way to get around that football. Brian, I watched 2 games this year and 2 games last year, but one that really jumped out was USC last year.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb Williams was trying to get away from him, but he just couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't, Brian Brothers. And this dude, of course, he'll come up and tackle in the run game because he does play in the box. He does do that box safety thing where he's cool in the run game. Fine. I think where he really shines, Brian, is just roaming around in zone, reading quarterback eyes, diagnosing the play. Brian, you can actually see him if he's at the top on one hash and there's a crossing route coming from the opposite numbers or the opposite hash towards him, he'll read it and come down on it 5 yards before it even develops for real, Brian. Yeah. Like he sniffs it. He has great instincts for the zone stuff. So I am comfortable calling him a good cover guy, just not in man. If you want to put him in man versus tight end or something, I can live with that because he's done that. But he really gets people pregnant floating around just following the quarterback, Brian. What'd you think about Xavier Watt from Notre Dame?
I'll tell you what, man. I think you absolutely got this guy nailed. The thing I really, really like about this guy is you mentioned as well, he trusts his eyes, and it rarely lets him down.
Yeah.
When he sees it, he is generally going to make that play. I love the way he reacts. I think his football IQ is outstanding. He competes. He shows toughness on every play. I think this kid's a clutch player. I think he's probably not the best athlete. He's not the fleeted of foot. He is a converted wide receiver, but you could tell he understands because he was a receiver at one time. He understands routes and he understands how people are trying to defeat him. But the ball, you mentioned it, the ball goes in his direction and it usually ends up in his hand. I think he could play in the box or up top. I like him a little bit better in the box where I liked Winston deeper from Penn State. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, number 0. I like more down in the box, but he is one of those guys. There's just that element of smarts, and a knack for beating blockers and getting to a spot. And again, I'll say this: he's not an elite athlete, but he runs and he moves well enough. I don't think I want to put him in a bunch of coverage stuff. I just don't. But maybe with athletes that have a little bit more quickness than him, that's going to be a problem for him. But he's got some experience playing in the slot and also out wide. So I think he's a hell of a player. I have him in the second round. When you start to talk about him, Winston, Starks, it's a good group so far of these safety players. I know we talked about the South Carolina kid. You could put him as there as well, but so far that's 4 pretty quality players at that safety spot, and those are usually pretty hard to find.
Yep. I have him in the second round, but I got him over Winston. Brian, where you got him?
Okay, they're both, like I said, I put them on my board. Winston is in the free safety category.
Okay, so you got him.
Watt is in the strong. If I had to pick one over the other, I would take Winston, then Watt is what I would do.
Brian, I think Winston may be the more
Watts. Excuse me, I got to add that S to it.
Watts, yeah. I think Winston may have more physical traits. I think I saw
better athlete. Better athlete
for sure. I think I just saw Watts make more plays, man. Watts made some plays.
Oh no, he
Brian.
can. No. That's true. That's true. Yeah. You're right. If you told me I could have either guy, and I just think because I see Donovan Wilson, and I'm thinking, well, maybe if you put somebody a real free safety where Donovan Wilson didn't have to worry about things.
Yeah.
I would if you said, hey, Brian, you could have Winston and Watts as your 2 safeties as rookies.
You good.
I'd sign me up all day. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Yeah.
Honestly, Brian, if it's like that, I'll just take Watts, and I can withstand one more
Watts
year of Hooker
healthier right now. I mean, Watts is healthier. I mean, Winston's coming off the knee.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man. Yeah. Brian, we got one more, man. You want to know why he's 5th on the Cowboys not even thinking about him list?
Is it because he's just a slot receiver?
Because he's a little bitty. He 5'10".
Yeah.
Cowboys don't like all that short, not a lot of length and stuff going on.
I did look out on the field against the Commanders the other day, and Cooks was out there with Turpin and Brooks.
There's not enough room in this. Look, Outlaw Josie Wells said ain't enough room here for 2 of us, Brian. Like they not gonna have Turpin and this little bitty character running around here. So in Cowboy land, Xavier Restrepo, I have a hard time saying his name. Xavier Restrepo, from Miami. I will say though, Brian, I like the player a ton.
He is a good player.
Cowboy perspective, I don't think he's tall or long enough, but just me breaking the player down. He is not the most incredible athlete, I don't think. But at the top of that route, his ass got some quickness out of the top of that damn route, Brian. And he does and he does this technical route running thing to where he can run 6-7 routes and they all look the same. Brian, I promise he sets them all up the same because I'm watching. And sometimes
it's the same speed. All the routes go with the same speed.
They all got that same kind of
the pace, the gait.
This cadence to him, Brian. He has this weird cadence to him, and it's almost like he'll lull you to sleep. He'll lull you into whatever he's doing, and then he's just gone, Brian. And next thing you know, he's wide ass the hell open, Brian. I think he has a lot of nuance to his route running in a way that he's going to get his hands, his head, feet fakes involved, Brian. Like I said, really good at making all the routes look alike. And I think his route tree is perfect for him, right? Like he's not going to be the big vertical type guy or whatever, but he's a first down getter. You know what I'm saying?
A getter, yeah.
He's a first down getter. So that short to intermediate, he really goes crazy in there. And Brian, I don't think I ever seen him drop a pass. I don't think he like as long as it was in his range, he is a little bitty. But as long as Cam Ward and whoever the quarterback was last year, as long as they hit him, he caught it, Brian. Just a sure-handed catch dude, and he's kind of slippery as a yak guy. I wouldn't call him a full-blown yak guy, but after the catch, he can be a little slippery. But for the most part, he'll kind of catch the ball and just, do his thing or whatever. But Xavier Restrepo, I was a big fan of his because I like nuanced route runners, and not the greatest athlete in the world, and he's probably not going to test all that great, and he may not be drafted high at all. But whoever get him, they got a guy, Brian.
Yeah, you mentioned it, man. I think you once again got the guy right. The body control is outstanding. The adjusting to the passes, gets his feet down. I mean, he understands the idea, the technique, the nuance of playing the position. You're right. He doesn't have the height. He doesn't have the athletic ability. He does do some things with the ball in his hands, though. I mean, you could see him. He gets off the line of scrimmage. They get him the ball, boop, 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 and he's up the field and away he goes.
Sneaky.
But I think that, to me, he is. You're gonna have. He's kind of limited to what he can do. Yep. That's the big question that you have to answer yourself. Do you feel comfortable enough playing him on the outside? It might not matter because he's so good playing inside.
Sure.
They'll always say, "Oh, he's a one-trick pony." Well, his one trick's pretty damn good.
Good.
Good. It's good enough, and he's sure-handed. The routes are quick. He's gonna get you run after catch, as I mentioned. I think he's got toughness about him. I think he's willing to block when he has to.
Sure.
Not the biggest guy, but he's willing to
throw his body in the way.
Throw his body in the way, and it makes so. Guy plays with a lot of heart, and so you're going to bet against a guy like this because scouts like to say, well, he can't do this, can't do that, can't do this. This kid's going to make a ton of catches in the league. I mean, we were talking about, the guys that play these positions, especially in the slot, and their ability to run, and he's one of those guys that has a feel for how to get open. And when he gets open, then he's going to make that catch. And he's going to find ways to separate, and pretty impressive player for a guy that is that short.
Yeah. I'm a fan of him. I think he's a really good player. I got him as a 3rd round type player, but I think in real life he might go day 3 somewhere because he's small and he's not going to test really well.
Yeah, I think you got him right. Let me ask you this:
Yes,
you studied Bond?
I did.
From Texas.
I did.
Do you have Bond over him? Do you have a Bond over him by a bunch or a little? Or
I got Bond in the 4th round.
See, I got Bond in the 3rd, and I was kind of wondering.
I don't like Bond.
I can tell you, I can tell you that.
I don't like Bond. See, Brian, I'm just over the run fast guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I see what you're doing, man.
Run fast guy.
You do this long enough, you will get crushed with those guys. You're right.
Run fast guy just does not work unless they have some extra route running or some extra yak to them. Just being able to run has not worked in the league with the last 7 damn guys that have tried to do it. Now, Worthy got Mahomes and Andy Reid, but besides that, Mims, Rager, damn Hollywood Brown, they never live up to it. Ruggs and them, they never live up to it, Brian. So I'm not gonna fall for the run pass you got. I got Bond in the 4th. I might drop him a little bit more. Now, last Tuesday on the draft show there, Kyle was like, Isaiah Bond's another good name. I almost fought him on that, but it was day 1. I ain't want to fight nobody day 1.
So you're just giving all these guys like this week of kind of a grace period. And then in show 39, you're just going to lose your damn mind, right? Or show two, you're going to lose your damn mind.
Well, Brian, day 1 in class, you get your syllabus, you meet your classmates, and you walk out the class. You don't get homework on day 1. We gonna fight. We gonna fight coming up.
I miss the pizza from my school. I miss those square pizzas that they used to give us at lunch. I'd go back and get my syllabus and in class and all that. If they give me some more of those square pizzas they used to have.
Brian, let me tell you what I reminisced on today. I'm sitting in the house.
You sit in that chair. Don't lie to these people.
No, Brian. That is true. Look, I'm sitting in the house. It's snowing outside. And Brian, you an old classic Southern man from the 60s. Yeah. I know you know this. Brian, did y'all have a Shoney's where you was living at?
Damn right we did.
Brian,
Shoney's.
I had a craving for Shoney's today. See, there's a lot of people don't know shit about Shoney's. They don't know nothing about no Shoney's.
You got to go to the Waffle House then, bro.
Waffle House has nothing on Shoney, sir.
Shoney, but like you can kind of get that. I'm all about the people back there on the flat top, and there's like not a lot of conversation, and
That's
it's
cute.
just cooking, and you can smell you see the toast. The guy's got hash browns working next to the, working next to the pancakes, working next to the bacon. It's all kind of like right there.
That's cute.
But Shoney's is, no, you're right about Shoney's was really, really, really
Shoney's was a buffet, which makes it different. It was a buffet that makes it different.
Yeah.
And it had the best grits, Brian. We don't know nothing about Shoney's grits and bacon, man. Brian, I'm just sitting on the couch, man. And look, I had to Google it because I don't even know where a Shoney's is. I haven't seen one in 20 years.
Are they even open anymore? Are they open anymore?
There's
North Carolina. Is there one like in Asheville, North Carolina?
They're all in the Carolinas and Tennessee and Georgia. They ain't even got them in Texas. They had one in Natchez growing up.
They will not let Shoney's. The great thing about, I love North Carolina. I love the state of North Carolina. I love the state of South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
They will not let our old restaurants die.
Yeah.
They will not. I'll tell you. You ever had Bojangles chicken?
No, sir.
All right. When you get to the Carolinas, and I'll go take a trip. We'll be in the Douglas Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll take you to get some Bojangles chicken.
Okay.
The sweet tea will knock you off. I mean, they got rocking chairs at the Douglas Airport there in Charlotte. You sit there, you eat your chicken and you drink iced tea.
And doze
you sit
off.
in a rocking chair.
Because your ass an insulin shot from all that damn sugar. That's why. That's why.
It's so good.
You better have something to fall down on and not hit your damn
head.
Sweet
tea. God, I miss that sweet tea. I really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the
good night, brother. Good night. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the comments,
I meant to show you this.
Oh,
please.
What
I found? My college ID.
Damn, dog. Who is that?
That's me. That's me. That's an LSU football player right there, man. How about that?
Bro, you went to LSU.
That's me with hair.
So that
was me with hair.
There's a Shoney in Baton Rouge we used to go to, so I know your ass know about Shoney. There's a Shoney's Inn. They got a hotel out there. There's a Shoney's Inn in Baton Rouge. So I know you know.
I'll tell you what we need to do is we need to make that base camp and hit about 4 or 5 schools, stay in the week in the Shoney and just eating at Shoney's every day.
Let's make it a thing.
Out to school.
Yeah.
Just scouting schools, just making school calls.
I like that.
Staying at the Shoney Hotel.
I like that. Man, Brian, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, we gave y'all a 50-minute show tonight, something a little longer, but you know what I'm saying? Look, the draft show took a day off, whatever. But doing all right is always here for you. So for those 5 players, y'all please go in the comments. You can rank them if you like. We could talk. And let us know what y'all thought if you disagreed or anything like that. And also let us know if you've had Bojangles or Shoney's and give us a review on those, okay? Y'all be sure to follow me at VOCHLOMBARDI. I'm trying to get paid on Twitter right now, so y'all please hold me down. And BRYN Broadus on social medias. And next week, the draft show will be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So y'all be sure to tap into that. All right. Catch y'all next time. Salute.